You think you should be making ultra-specific content to funnel people into your digital products and build as much authority as possible. Or you might be thinking that you need to be as viral as possible and get millions and millions of views so you can build your online business and sell your digital products. But that's not the most efficient way of doing it. Both of those methods have a place, but will leave you with holes in your content system, therefore holding you back from your potential and impact you want to have to your audience. And without a proper content system, that's exactly what's holding you back from building your online business, scaling your personal brand, and unlocking the next level of your business. In this video, I'm going to break down exactly how to build a cult-like audience and really naturally elevate people through your content so they end up messaging you wanting to work with you, all while inspiring and motivating new customers. You're generating new interest into your business through your own personal brand and viral content. Who cares about competition or saturation in the market when you are generating new customers from the very beginning? And we're going to do all of this without getting burnt out, overwhelmed, or begging for people to work with you or to pay you. People in your audience can choose their own adventure and decide when it's best to work with you and send you that message. So you can sell on autopilot as you're building a loyal and authentic audience. Now, I've been posting content for a few years now. I've grown my audience to over 200,000 followers, and I've done a lot of different content styles and setups, and it took me a long time to figure out the method that I'm about to show you in this video. I started back in 2022 posting ultra viral motivational quote type videos, and those videos would consistently get millions of views, and I'd gain tens of thousands of followers just from a few videos. But the issue was it wasn't authentic to me. The audience didn't care who I was. They just wanted their next viral hit and their next viral dopamine moment from my page. They weren't really followers or fans. And then I went the complete opposite direction and became a fact machine. I gave so much advice about how to shoot content, how to make viral content, and that was a step closer because it built my business to about $8,000 a month in about 30 days with my low ticket community. But that as well was not exactly where I wanted to be in terms of my audience, content creation, and offer. See, in reality, you need a balance of that specific educational and authoritative content balanced in with your viral helping hand type of videos. This way you can get as many views as possible while also building an authentic audience. And with some of the tips I'm going to give you in this video, we're also going to talk about how to build a cult-like audience and really have people that are super fans, not just viewers. And now that I'm launching Catalyst, I'm growing my own cult community. I'm going to show you exactly what we do, what I teach my clients, and what I'm doing behind the scenes. This is part 4 of the 6-part mini series of how to create and monetize your personal brand online. If you're unfamiliar with what I do, who I am, or the model that we use, then click the link in the description or it'll pop up somewhere around here and you can get a good rundown of what we're trying to build and how I'm helping people. And if you haven't yet joined the free school community to unlock some templates, resources, and everything else that I have to offer, link is going to be in the description for that. You can join completely for free. And if you don't know who I am yet, my name is Ethan. I help creatives and freelancers monetize and get paid to grow their audiences. Now let's get back into the video here about how to build an authentic audience that still builds your business in an authentic way. Most creators find it super frustrating to build an authentic audience, and they typically feel like they need to fall into one of two camps: the ultra specific and super authoritative content, or the spineless viral content. And in reality, that's just not how it has to be done. The viral content's going to come across inauthentic, not all that deep, and no one's really going to get to know you. And the specific content is not going to reach enough people. And yes, you can maybe get some extra sales from ultra specific content, but just look at the people who build bigger personal brands. They have opportunities, speaking gigs, anything else you can really think of, just come into their inbox because eventually everybody in their industry knows who they are. A little bit of fame or recognizability in your respected industry isn't going to do you a disservice. But we need to climb to the top of our brand trust and recognition through authentic content, and at the same time building an authentic cult-like audience. You want to be creating a demand for your offer, but you also don't want to be too salesy and get too in deep with always constantly selling your offer. In fact, a lot of my clients still get a lot of value from watching videos just like this because I give a lot of my information out here for free. I'm selling the implementation, the specifics, the templates, and the more detailed instructions, but all of the big ideas are here on YouTube, and that's giving a lot of value away to really build trust in my audience so you guys trust me and find value in the videos. Creators also feel like they now either need to gatekeep all the information or just be an open book, and then they're not going to make any sales, but that's also fundamentally a little limiting. You see, we actually want to be educating as many people as possible and have a big impact on people, and when they're ready, they can continue to take the next steps to actually get results in their life. And it's actually your job to frame your information and package your information in such a way that inspires new people to start learning about what you're teaching. We need to make it interesting for people to pick up a fitness hobby, to learn a new hobby, to learn a new skill that's going to benefit their life. It's not like the typical education system where you're forced to sit down and the teacher starts rambling on about English or math and you don't even know why or how you can use it in real life. Ideally, we need to be set up with the information and understand why it's important for us to learn. And that's exactly what creators do, is they are packaging their information in a viable, viral way of consumption, so then you actually pay attention to the value that they're about to give you. Because if you don't pay attention, no one's going to click on your videos, and then they're going to go back to brain rot, which isn't really helping anyone. So by not learning how to create a content ecosystem and package your ideas and offer and create an audience and really have a fun environment online for people to learn and get to know you, you're not only diminishing sales, you're also not reaching as many people and not having as big of an impact as you want to in real life, therefore also hindering those people and robbing them of the opportunity to self-actualize because they're going to just go to brain rot instead or learn from some other creator that might have different information than you do. And then you're also going to have a huge headache on your hands because you might end up building a super viral but inauthentic and not genuine brand, or you just might be going hyper specific and then boring your audience and not reaching many people at all. So to solve a lot of these problems, what I teach is the Catalyst ecosystem model. So let's dive into the whiteboard here and realize that the big topic that I'm talking about here is natural elevation. We want to spark interest with our audience and then naturally elevate them into working with us and inspiring people to take action and get results in their life. And the way we're going to do this is the content ecosystem method. If you're unfamiliar with this and the ecosystem model or the flywheel model, essentially it's a big trust building mechanism, which is very popular right now. So the reason why the ecosystem model works so well right now is because Google released the 7-11-4 rule, which is a framework that basically describes how customers want to buy from you or interact with a brand. And typically, on average, it takes about 7 hours of content for them to consume, about 11 different touch points, and about 4 different locations for them to feel comfortable enough and for them to build enough trust to buy from you. And this builds really trust and familiarity to increase brand exposure. And I've taken this ecosystem model a step further with the Catalyst ecosystem model, which I can get to in a bit. But that's why a lot of these people are using flywheels and ecosystems and focusing more on YouTube and focusing on more of these different platforms, because trust and recognizability is so important now. So what the Catalyst ecosystem is, we want to start with short form content so then we can spark interest of new potential customers, leads, or people, which then elevates our impact and how many people we're affecting. Then it attracts new people because it's broad enough to actually spark that interest in random people. And then it's also going to motivate people to take the first step. So again, if I was trying to learn how to surf, I might start watching these amazing sunset Instagram videos with a sexy song on it. And it's just like a dopamine hit of like, wow, I should really learn how to surf. That's just going to motivate me. It attracts new people to surfing, and it sparks my interest to learn a little bit more about surfing. So then I can take the next step. And what is that next step in the Catalyst ecosystem model? It's going to be long form content. So maybe I click on that Instagram video, maybe I comment to ManyChat CTA, something like that. And then I end up on their YouTube or email list, right? And that's going to be your long form content. And now it really gets into the details of what this topic is about. So if we're going to take the surfing example, I might watch a YouTube video on how to pop up or how to read the waves or the best locations in the world to learn how to surf. What's the difference between a reef break and a beach or sand break, right? These are all different methods and stuff I would need to learn to then start surfing. And that information can be on YouTube, potentially delivered from my favorite creator who's going to inspire me to take a trip and to learn how to surf. So we're going to be helping people learn in our YouTube. We're going to inspire people a little bit more. We're going to add more value to their audience, to your audience, and they're going to feel more value as well, because you're not just watching a 60-second video with a quick dopamine hit. We're actually being able to dive a little deeper in a 10-minute topic, 20-minute topic of a YouTube video. And then we also get to build a connection. So you get to really understand how they are as a creator, and it really builds trust and essentially motivates people, again, to take the next step. And then taking the next step is going to result in your authentic offer. And if you haven't watched your authentic offer video, that's going to be the first one of this series. But once you have your authentic offer, this is where people get to actually transform, they actually achieve their goals, and they get to avoid pain through what they don't know. You're helping people self-actualize into their own life, business, career, relationships, health, whatever. So after, I'm presented with a authentic offer on how to surf, maybe I take a retreat, a surfing retreat, and I actually spend a little bit of money, and then I'm actually out on the waves, standing up on my surfboard and enjoying that sunset moment myself. And that is a complete transformation, because I, at one point, didn't know how to surf, and now I do. I've achieved some of my goals. I get to be in the community. I get to continue to learn by myself, and I get to avoid the pain of sitting at my desk wondering if I can ever surf in my life and never checking that thing off my bucket list. So that's a fun example, of course, but this is really why we're using our Catalyst ecosystem model, is to naturally elevate people up, because the short form content can go viral and the long form content can really go deep and add a lot of value to people and have a big impact. And your authentic offer is where you're actually going to get the results that people want. People pay attention when they pay. It's kind of a common saying, and I do agree. Like, you have to learn by doing it, and by learning all the time without the implementation, you're not really going to transform, achieve your goals, and avoid that pain, right? And that's going to give you some killer results so we can be nice and happy. So that's essentially what the Catalyst ecosystem model is. Now, let's take a look at cult community branding. And this is important so we can actually frame our whole content ecosystem in a way that's powerful, unique, and special to the normal person. Now, some of these concepts are based off of the book, The One Sentence Persuasion Course. If you haven't read it, you can Google it, you can use ChatGPT, you can read it. So essentially, the persuasion psychology framework in 27 words, the one sentence, is: people will do anything for those who encourage their dreams, justify their failures, allay their fears, confirm their suspicions, and help them throw rocks at their enemies. Now, this stuff, what I'm about to say, gets pretty deep. Try to look at it as a grain of salt. We are educating and learning some of these frameworks, so we are aware of it ourselves, and we're going to use these cult branding frameworks for our own benefit to do good on the world and have a positive impact. So let's take a look at some examples here and how you can create your own persuasion framework in your content and business. People like Andrew Tate have used this before. Andrew Tate has polarized his audience. He clearly stands for something, and then therefore there's also a group of people that stand completely opposite of what he stands for. And that's why he got so popular, because there's a bit of a gap in society that he filled, and he, is pro-masculinity, etc., etc. He then came to rise pretty quickly, and yeah, kind of gets a little controversial. Hamza's another good one. He's like that older brother for younger men. He has very clear values and beliefs, and he really helps people and goes really deep in all of his forms of content, inspires people to take action, has courses, has like authentic offers to really help transform people once they're ready to pay attention. Alex Hormozi, a little bit less controversial, but an awesome case study of entrepreneurship, building a business, having clear values. He has a bit of this hustle culture. He thinks that working hard is really important. He works out at the gym a lot. He holds himself to a very high standard and documents that experience, therefore having a pretty cult-like audience. And I'll give you even more examples at the end of this exercise. Emma Chamberlain is also a great example of this ultra authentic audience builder that people love her. People love Emma Chamberlain. They will sit and listen to her yap to the camera on YouTube. She's almost like that opposite of Andrew Tate, where it's like, fuck all the perfectionism and fuck all of this, hustle culture. She's just a normal girl documenting her life, showing her flaws, showing the hiccups of life, and people love the authenticity. Sam Sulik's also another great example of someone who's ultra authentic, therefore framing themselves as like an anti version of the opposite group, which is like hustle culture and all of that, and perfectionism on Instagram, and people just get sick of it. So then you have these different types of communities and figures that people appreciate. And these are just examples of some of those people who have strong values and then therefore have a strong cult-like community. So to really shape our own community and get clear on our branding is we want to focus on our world. So this is like characters in your life. So I just did an interview with my brother. He's a character in my life now. We talk about it semi-publicly. I can have friends in the same friend group that we post each other's stories. And these are like reoccurring people in my life that people can associate my brand with, which is really cool. Same with like places and backdrops. So this little studio here is becoming pretty iconic. I've been making videos here for about a year now, and unfortunately, this is going out of commission soon. I'm going to be moving. I have a couple exciting adventures that are coming up that you will probably see if you're watching this video in the future. But having recognizable places and backdrops are amazing for your brand, and some of those opportunities there as well. Even just bigger scenes and locations. So right now I'm in Toronto. Sometimes I visit Bali a lot. Sometimes I'm announcing something very soon. It's not official yet, but essentially having these recognizable scenes, these bigger ideas is also super beneficial. What kind of clothes you wear, basically your world, your Instagram stories, all of this really helps people learn a little bit more about what you do. So that's the first part that we want to communicate through Instagram, through YouTube videos, through just being a personal brand online, posting content. It's going to be super important. The next thing we want to get really clear on is your own stories. So we have like a couple main stories. The first story that's super important is your origin story. So where did you come from? Why do you do what you do now? Why do you believe what you believe now? So this can start from like big moments in your life, stories of you growing up as a kid. And this is basically how you got here today. Everyone has a story. I've learned to uncover my story quite a bit because I've told it so many times now, but you have to get really clear on your origin story and all of your stories so you can really have a good idea of how to tell it and making it exciting and making it sound sexy by packaging, the highlights of your life and the downturns of your life. You might have to uncover some of that stuff that you might have buried away. And if you can tell it online, if you can package it in a way, it's going to be very inspirational, motivating for people because we've all gone through shit and it's just a matter of how you say it. Another one is your transformation. So your transformation story relates more to your authentic offer. So what have you done in your life that you also want to help people with? And that's your authentic offer. Your transformation of I was here before, I learned a system and I made a system and I got this myself out of this situation. And that's my transformation story. And that might have took 6 months or 3 months or 2 years, whatever it is. But getting super clear on that transformation story is really going to help you tell your story in a way that is authentic, meaningful. At the end of the day, humans, we learn from stories and we really connect with people that have strong stories and just another layer of relatability. And then you have your case study stories, and those are really just your clients. So what kind of case studies, what kind of clients have you had through your authentic offer? I know you might not have your authentic offer yet. You can watch the beginning of that video. You might have to start selling your course. You might have to get into it. You might need some extra help to do that. But essentially, once you can have your program, have your systems laid out in such a way, we want to get these case studies and stories and tell them for other people so they can really understand what a transformation like that takes. Like, how is it actually learning how to surf? How is it like getting online and earning 6 figures as a creator? How is getting ripped and having your dream six pack? Like, what are those problems, those moments that you've overcame in your story that your clients overcame that are common problems? And overall, that's just how people are really going to connect with you. Okay, so another big one for building a cult-like audience is your polarity and conviction. A big one for me that I've struggled with my whole life was being too on the fence about everything, not having strong opinions about life. I am very open-minded and I will almost always listen to different opinions. However, that eventually played to my demise. Eventually, that was really bad because I never stood for anything. I never had a solidified opinion where I could share my own ideas to the world because I would always be up in the air. I could see both sides. I appreciate different perspectives, but therefore I didn't have a voice. So if you're on the fence about something, you're not really going to have a clear voice. You're not going to be able to really communicate what you stand for. So word of caution, you should always be constantly learning and understanding both sides. Presented with new information, you should be able to change your opinion. But once you have an opinion, it should be strong and have a lot of conviction and confidence behind it. So I have my opinions, my conviction in my brand. I think creative work is going to be really fucked up because of AI. And I think the creator economy, this online education space, is the future of all self-actualization and human education. I think this is it. This is the future. And I have a really strong conviction in that. I've seen it for myself. I've seen it with other clients. I've seen it growing up my whole life. And now we're really coming into like this late stage post season of the creator economy. And I'm just so glad to be doing what I'm doing now. Presented with new information, I might change my opinion. But as of right now, this is it. And that's my polarity and conviction with my brand. I can go on with a couple other things. Like, I actually think professional cameras aren't all that special anymore. I think a lot of people are going to be choosing to shoot with iPhone. It's already happening. I just do it because I enjoy it. But there's so many things in your brand that you can really have conviction with. It needs to be clear. And if you're presented with new information, you can change your mind. Like, it's not coming from an ego-centric place. You just need to stand for something and really believe it and have that conviction. And you can also gain polarity by comparing it to an old way of thinking. And the polarity is also how you speak to the camera, how you're framing your ideas, because it's going to be that much more powerful when you can really communicate what you believe in and what you should be doing and what you want to be doing. So then that brings me to the last point of the us versus them framework. We basically have to pick a side, have that polarity and conviction, and then stick to it. If we believe in this thing, then the other group is believing in that thing. And this is where we can really throw stones at our enemies and have that camp that we stand in. Now, this isn't a shot against the personality or the individual. It's a shot at the old belief system and the old model. So if you are a carnivore and you only eat meat, it's a pretty extreme diet. And I would assume you probably don't like vegans who only eat plants. It's not like you hate vegans, the people, it's you hate that ideology and the belief system. Because if that same vegan eater came to your side and started eating meat and had a carnivore diet, you wouldn't hate the person, you just hate that belief system that they have. So this is where it becomes a us versus them mentality, or this versus that mentality. And you can now throw stones at the opposite conviction of your way of doing things. I love posting content and warm outreach. I hate cold outreach. I think emailing random people, DMing random people is a horrible waste of time. I don't think it adds value to society because it's just basically spam, and it's not really a good use of anyone's time, because even you, the one cold DMing, could be working on your own business, could be making valuable content, and therefore I just hate cold DMing and cold outreach. And I think that's a complete waste of time. I'd rather be making content, attracting my ideal person, and giving value to the world. That's just an example of an like this versus that mindset of like, we do things differently over here. Like, my group is cool because we don't do any cold outreach and we give value to people and we get to travel and we don't, we have a good balanced life and mindset, et cetera, et cetera. These people over here do things a little differently. Like, they prefer to work really hard and they do a bunch of cold outreach and they do a bunch of done for you service work, which actually like hinders their clients because they could just get AI to do it for them instead. And they could show people how to use AI to do it. So this is an example of like an us versus them mindset. It's like vegan versus carnivore. It is weightlifting versus yoga. It is whatever you want it to be. Just have your polarity and conviction in your life. You don't hate the people. You just hate the belief system, the mindset, the system that they use to run their lives. And that's why you're going to make content about it. So you can share your ideas and hopefully have this frame of like, hey, we do things a little differently over here. The grass is a little greener on this side. You can choose whatever side you want, but like, this side's pretty cool. And that's really getting into that call audience branding, and it is super powerful. And now once you have your little tribe of people in your community and brand, we can now use an inner lexicon. And an inner lexicon is basically like your slang that you use for your group. It is your catchphrases, it is your funny memes, it is your quotes, it is what you call your group, it is your introduction lines, all of that. So here are some fun examples from creators I like. Peter McKinnon, famous videographer, photographer. You probably know him if you're in the videography space. He starts every video with a "What's up, everybody?" And he's got that like PH sound to it. So it's like, "What's up, everybody?" He's been doing that for years. It's like, you know it, I know it. If you watch his video, that is recognizable to his brand. That is the inner lexicon of the Peter McKinnon tribe. Again, not a crazy cult, just a community, authentic, it's sick, everyone loves him, and that's what he's doing. right? Andrew Tate has top G's. So like, that's what he calls his tribe of people, right? So if, are you a top G or are you not a top G? That is his inner lexicon in his community. Alex Hormozi uses Mosey Nation to call his tribe. He has Layla in his life as well. He's adding all of these different layers to his personal brand, which gives him a really cool cult community. I don't know if you know this guy, Financial Education. He's a cool, stock YouTuber that I like. He has a whole bunch of fun nicknames for his stock. So back in the day, he used to like tell people to buy Tesla stock before it went up like 1,000%, and he'd call it like Tesla my Esla. And he'd have a whole bunch of like fun nicknames for all of his stocks. So in the videos, you're watching for 10, 20 minutes. I watch this guy quite a bit, depends on the season, but he'd have all these fun nicknames for his stocks. And then if if you owned the stock or if you liked the stock, you'd kind of have this inside joke and when you're watching his videos, and then that's just part of this amazing branding play. So all of these people, all of these content creators have an inner lexicon. They have a us versus them mentality. We do things like this. We do things like that. We operate on this basis. They do other things. I think this is better than this. They have solidified opinions. They are polarized and well convicted of their ideas and vibe. Sometimes they throw rocks at their enemies as well. But even if they don't, like even Emma Chamberlain, there's still that subliminal us versus them mentality because she's being authentic. She's like leaving out all of her ums and buts and like her random quirks that she does in her YouTube videos. That's still kind of an anti-polished, over-editing style. If you like it or not, that's the tribe that she's making. And then her tribe isn't going to like the over-edited style, vice versa. Okay. And then we have our origin stories. So this is really like how we communicate to our audience, transformational stories, case study stories. So we actually get to have a good idea of what we want. And then we also have our own world, which is characters, places, backdrops, scenes, and all of that. And that's how we're going to build a cult-like audience through our content ecosystem. And now the last thing you might be wondering is, how does this content ecosystem work? How do you actually write all of this content if we want to just be posting on all these different platforms and have 4 different locations? So we have 7 hours of YouTube content for people interested in us to consume. And I'll break it down exactly what I do here. So I post YouTube about once a week. That's the goal. I post short form almost every day. And then I have like weekly newsletters. If you're not subscribed to the newsletters, you should definitely check it out. Link is going to be in the description. If you sign up to the school community to receive all the templates and all that, you'll automatically be signed up to the newsletters. They're an epic read, so definitely would suggest. But basically what I do is I have AI powered creativity. So this is a shout out to Dan Coe. I've actually been using Cortex, which has been really amazing. I get to keep all of my notes, my customer avatar, my offer doc, my writing style, my own life story, all in my notes saved in Cortex. And then I get to write emails, write content. It gives me ideas based off of everything that I give it. So I can be like, okay, write me a new YouTube video or write me a new newsletter based off of my customer avatar, based off of the problems they face, based off of my writing style and my past experiences, blah, 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 blah. So even in Catalyst, I'm actually probably going to be rolling out a full AI playbook in the future for you guys, which is going to be super cool because basically that's going to be the future of courses. Like, why do all the work yourself when you could just follow a system of AI prompts, systems of AI workflows to then make your own productivity, creativity super powerful and super efficient. So that's something very cool. And that's kind of what I do. So I have this weekly content system and schedule. If you're interested about that, that should be in the previous video. Number 3 is actually how to post content consistently and still go viral using all of this. And then you can get AI powered creativity. Pretty sweet. And then the last thing you're going to need is a content organizer. So some of the things I do in Catalyst as well is I give all of my clients a content organizer. So inside the dashboard, which is what all my clients get, I don't have it for free because this is a good chunk. It's pretty valuable. There's a whole bunch of cool stuff like ICP and authentic offer and all that. But essentially in Content Flow, which is this guy right here, we get to plan out all of our content. So we have resources for YouTube videos, title and thumbnail ideas, shot lists if you wanted to, if you're like more of a filmmaker and you really wanted to dial in that. You have a scripting guide, which is how I actually script my YouTube videos, rough AI info script. So I'm already incorporating some of that AI stuff, the actual script, and then also publishing too. If there's any special notes, any special links, captions, etc. And we have this for Instagram, YouTube, and even newsletters. And this is all planned out in your Notion. I might switch over eventually, but Notion's been working really well. Everyone's very happy with Notion. All of my clients use it. I use this too. This is is a screenshot from my own. I'm loving Notion. So content organization also going to be super important for your own scheduling. An example of a creator who really did this really well is David Weber. So he is a German stock trader and he has a community. He educates other stock traders in the German niche about how to overcome those mindsets, those weird icks about stock traders. He's now killing it. He's got like a couple hundred people in his low ticket community. And then he was able to sign actually first 2 clients, his first 2 one-on-one clients within his very first month of working with me. So he was actually able to sign his first 2 one-on-one clients in the very first month of working with me, which is super cool. And he's doing this because of his content ecosystem. So he gets to connect with people on Instagram. He has 5,000 followers on that and then 1,000 followers on YouTube. He's posted like 51 times. So he has the trust. He has the ability to connect with people. And now all he needed to do was just bridge that gap. But you don't want to be needy when you're connecting with people. And how do we connect with people once we're posting all of this content, once we have our authentic offer, everything is set up, we still got to, be able to convert and get in front of the right people without being salesy and inauthentic. So the way we're going to do this is with the next video of our series. We can actually connect with our audience effectively. I call it the down in the DM system. It's kind of a fun one. And that's going to be in the non-needy networking video. And that's going to be the next one. So if you're interested in actually how to connect with your audience, go click the 5th video of the series. And that's going to show you how to connect with your audience authentically while posting all of your content with YouTube, with Instagram, and keep everything nice and organized, especially after all the hard work you've done with your authentic offer and your content creation. So if that sounds interesting, go click the video right there. If you're unfamiliar about the model or just want a big overview, click the first video of this series. Link to that is going to be linked in the description of the video. That's going to be the main model of everything. If you want my help personally to build everything out and work with me inside of Catalyst, you can DM me 56 on Instagram and I'll give you the details there. And with that, hopefully you enjoyed watching this YouTube video. I will catch you in the next one with non-needy networking and how to actually connect with your audience. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.